So, y'all, I'm headed up to Pewaukee, Wisconsin. And I wanted to come in here and deal with a couple things, a couple comments I saw on my video that I made yesterday about the black model who stood up for herself and not wanting to be a part of no racist ass fashion show. It's cold as a bitch out here, y'all. As you can see on my phone, if you look up, well, if you can see that on your screen, it's 6 degrees out this bitch. The temperature is in the 1st grade and it's childish. to be quite honest, it's childish out this bitch. It's cold as fuck. We gonna get it in. Those of you follow me on Instagram, which you should be. If you follow me on Instagram, I took a picture of my get up I got it on today. I got on a cold suit. We ready, all black. We in there. All right. But I want to deal with a couple comments that I saw, and we actually dealt with this on my live stream when I talked about Gayle King and her. You know, what she had going on, what people are saying about black women were saying that, you know, if it was Serena Williams with her being in an interracial relationship, black men would have said fuck her and shit like that. I came in and said I don't give a fuck about any of that shit when I know that a black person is being disrespected on the strength of them being black. That doesn't have anything to do with their swirling. And then furthermore, if someone isn't coming out and disrespecting black men or black women as they're swirling, then, you know, it really don't. I'm not chasing down trying to find out who people with if I know they're dealing with racism because they are black. They themselves are black. But I saw an interesting comment here left by Cincy Best. I'm going to deal with this one first. It says, I applaud sis. She's stunning. And then I found out she's a swirler. Now, again, I'm not going to look for who black people sleeping with and all that shit. That's not my thing. Now, I tell black people that they need to make their exodus from the caves. They don't need to be laying up in the motherfucking caves, laying around with descendants of caves. They don't need to be doing that. I don't agree with that. But this black woman stood up for herself and did not participate. She put pride over money. That's what she did. Therefore, I have to I have no choice but to congratulate her and hope that she stays strong within that. Now, I'm going to show y'all who she laying up with. Because I had to go do some research because I didn't know whether she was a swirler or not. This is the descendant of caves that she's laying up with. Says here, partner in crime. This is who she laying up with. Alright? This is who she's laying up with. Do I agree with this? No. And at some point she may not agree with it. I don't know what point she's going to get to. But what I do know is that she stood for herself as a black woman. That's what she did. Therefore, I'm going to speak on that. Now, if she was out here laying up in this cave and was out here opening her mouth like some, Sheriff David Clark or Clarence Thomas or, some of these motherfuckers that are full-blown cooning, anti-black, some of these Fox News motherfuckers, some of these black so-called Republicans, if she was on some shit like that, like Candace Owens or something like that, then I would have to bang her bitch ass up, and then we would be talking about how she landed up in these caves and how that's clearly affected her mentality and shows what side she's riding with. But that's not the situation. At least not thus far. She hadn't came out of her mouth being against black men or black women. Therefore, she's not on no Lonnie Love shit. She stood up for herself as a black woman, something that I feel that all black people should do. I don't give a damn what your situation is. This is what I feel all black people should do. Period. And I'm going to stand up and congratulate and stand up for my people regardless. I didn't know this. Now, once I saw that comment, I had to go do a little research, and this is the cave she laying up in. Right here. Right? And then there was another part of this comment that I wanted to deal with. There's another part of this comment that I want to deal with, and I had an issue with as well. We have a Shima S that replies to his comment by saying, yes, she's quite stunning, but many times it's a deep stigma as to why some black women are swirlers. One main, black men don't appreciate or love her complexion or beauty. It's messed up out there, and some black women find solace with other races of men. Now, in her response to his comment, as I'm looking at this shit, I always wonder, like, do you have the same energy for the black men that swirl? Because we have to understand that a lot of times, you know, black women gonna get away with black women get to get away with more shit, more fuckery. They get to run around here doing everything, and then what they can say was, well, no, it's some deep-rooted mental issue. Black men didn't love her complexion, therefore she had to go lay up in a cave. And she says here, one main, like that's the main reason black women laying up in the caves. That's some bullshit. And if you're not going to have the same energy for black men, when you see them in pictures or find out they laying up in a motherfucking cave, and they're not coming out here disparaging black women or saying anything about dark-skinned black women or anything negative about black women, there is no psychological breakdown of what he may have went through, even though she's not on record saying anything about black men and why she had to run to the caves. Black women gonna come in and explain it for her. Because black women swirlers get this level of respect from black women. I would argue if you're going to have that energy, you need to keep the same energy for both black men and black women who swirl. If you're going to break down the psychological effects of what the black woman might have been through, there's some black men that go through the same fucking bullshit. Getting laughed at about their skin, getting told that they broke as fuck, corny, lame, whatever. And then run to the goddamn caves. There's a double standard here. A black woman isn't going to come through and break down the psychological trauma that the black man might have been facing when he went to go lay up with a descendant of caves. Keep the same energy if you're going to have this type of energy. Keep it the same. Black women allow a lot more fuckery. They explain away a lot more black women fuckery, and it typically comes back to, well, the black man made them do it. And I think that is bullshit. Now again, her swirling or not swirling wasn't the topic of the video. It was her standing up for herself. Amy stood up for herself. And I think all black people could benefit from having that mentality. But y'all know, I don't promote laying up in caves, but I'm going to defend my people if they're being a victim of some form of racism, regardless. Because these white folk don't give a damn. You could be, hell, if you really look at this thing, not many black people take the stance that she took, and they may be in all black relationships, black love or whatever, and still coons. Still going to put securing a bag over their pride. They're still going to do that, regardless of who they laying up with. That's just how it is. So we have to be real about this shit when we addressing these types of issues. So regardless of who she's laying up with, even though she's laying up in a clear cave, she stood up for herself. Period. And that's what I'm focused on. And that's what the video was focused on. Not who she laid up with. That doesn't make me change what I feel about what she did and how she put her pride over money. That doesn't change that. I don't care who she laid up with. That's not the focus of this channel, is to try to hunt down every black person that's laying up with somebody white and point at them and say whatever the fuck it is to be said. Unless they on some, again, you know, Candace Owens, Stacey Dash, you know, some of these type of mentalities that come out here, Lonnie Love, coming out her mouth talking, disparaging black men or talking shit about black men. That would be the talking point. But this woman didn't do that. Amy didn't do that. She ain't done that yet. So that's not the point. The point is black people need to stand up for themselves the same way she did. at all times. That's what black people need to do. Period. And if black women are going to come in here and, you know, basically say that there's a deep stigma, which basically is a deep psychological issue. Well, if you're going to have that energy for black women and talk about what all pain and peril they've been through with black men as to why they run to the caves, you need to be having the same energy. If you're going to have that energy, you need to have the same energy for black men who run to the caves as well. If you're going to do that. If you're going to pardon all swirling and whatever, or the logic behind swirling, you need to do the same shit for black men. You know, black women, don't be hypocrites about this shit. I'm against swirling on both sides, but I'm pro-black first, second, and third. So therefore, if somebody black is experiencing racism, let's say they get stopped by the police does not try to find out whether they land up in a cave or not. They could be brutalized, set up, or killed. A black person in front of a judge is not going to be, the judge ain't gonna try to find out whether they land up in a cave or not. They're black first. So they will be judged on that alone. Period. That's how this shit is. So I'm here to bring light to that and speak on that racism that we all face out here, regardless of whether you done tried to sell out your best. Some people call it the Negro wake-up call. That terminology in itself means that there is no haven. If you black, you gonna fuck around and deal with some bullshit out here in this world. Doesn't matter what cave you laying up in. They gonna come find your ass. And the descendants of caves that they're laying up with aren't out here fighting racism. I'm sure that this white man that Amy's laying up with is not out here on the front lines fighting against no damn racism. I'm sure of it. Because none of them are. That's the reality. And that's the, you know, issue I have with it. Was, well, if you gonna be laying in a cave, you need to at least be in that cave getting the people that you are choosing to be with to be on the front lines and fight against racism as well. But a lot of these motherfuckers land up in these caves, they don't give a fuck about racism or standing up for themselves or anything like that. Really, honestly, with her laying up in a cave, I'm even a little bit surprised that she even stood up for herself and had any racial pride in the face of another random ass descendant of cave white man who was wanting her to do some more racist ass shit. Based on who she laying up with, I'm kind of even more surprised a little bit, like, well, shit, I'm surprised she didn't just put the shit on and do whatever. So I don't know if she's gonna be in this cave forever or not. No idea. But again, what I do know is she stood up for herself, and that's what I'm focused on. So that's all the fuck I wanted to say. Y'all comment if you need to comment, if you can understand where I'm coming from. If you can't, that's fine. Understand that this is not, this is my mentality, so I understand if you don't fully agree or whatever, but I'm here to stand up for my people regardless. And then congratulate people who stand up for themselves as a black person in this world regardless. If she come in here on some old goddamn Ben Carson type of shit who has a black wife, still a coon, still a motherfucking coon, like you know, wouldn't stand up for himself at all. So again, it's just, you know, that shit don't really, I'm not here chasing down trying to find out who people laying up with unless they out of pocket. Then I have to deal with them. Charles Barkley, you see? Then you gotta deal with them. And then you have to bring up the fact that they are laying up in the goddamn cave, and this could most definitely have shifted their mentalities. But Amy said, fuck that shit, I'm out. And I commend her for that regardless. But y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Links to follow me on social media in the description box Black first, black second, black third, y'all. That's the motherfucking team. That's what we doing around here. Shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. I'm out.